If you work with men, then you've probably heard them say, it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission. As women, we immediately think, why is it better to get in trouble? Then we realize it's got to be one of those guy things, like men don't like to ask for directions, or men don't ask for help. Men like to do things on their own. And that's where we're right. In the workplace, autonomy is men's dominant trait, and it drives their behavior. I've come to think of autonomy as men's personal declaration of independence, because as teenagers, they couldn't wait to become adults and be free of their parents' authority so they could do what they want, when they want, how they want. However, with this adult freedom, they also have to accept responsibility and accountability for the consequences of their actions. In the workplace, men don't want to be treated like a child again and have their boss dictate how they should do their job. They just want to be given a job and then be allowed to use their task expertise to figure out the best way to get it done. And their boss appreciates this because he's busy with his own job and doesn't have time to look over everyone's shoulder. This is why we'll hear our male bosses say, if I have to get down in the weeds and do his job, then what do I need him for? Our workplaces expect employees to act as adults who are responsible and accountable for managing their time and resources to get their job done within the established parameters. And most of the time, we can get our job done on our own. But our workplaces seldom work perfectly. Problems crop up that need to be solved. And men can usually come up with a solution on their own. But before they implement their solution, they have to weigh the risk between asking for permission and asking for forgiveness. They have to assess which one is more likely to become a career ender. Men know that asking for permission is a surefire way to be seen as a child, and children aren't trusted with the best projects, and they certainly don't get promoted. So men shy away from asking for permission. However, making a big decision on their own is also risky. So to mitigate that risk, men willingly sacrifice some of their autonomy and get a partner. A partner is someone he can bounce his ideas off of and help him work out a solution. His partner agrees to stand with him and share the responsibility and accountability for the solution. Now that may seem a bit risky for his partner, but the trade-off is that if the solution works out, his partner also shares in the glory. Men know their boss doesn't have the time or inclination to get down in the weeds of every problem. He just wants the problem solved. So when men get a partner, their boss is more confident that they use their joint expertise to figure out the best solution. At least that's what he hopes. But if things do go south, he knows who to blame and hold accountable. For women, all of this male logic can be hard to understand because autonomy and acting independently isn't our dominant trait. We tend to think in terms of a group. We recognize that there are other people and our actions affect them. Also, as women, we're very comfortable communicating. We like to talk things through with other people and coordinate what we're doing so we get things right. However, we have to be careful if we involve the boss too early, over-communicate with him, and drag him down into the weeds. Because while we think we're communicating effectively, he questions why we're involving him in all the details. Why can't we be like the guys and just take care of this on our own and leave him out of it? To him, our behavior confirms the stereotype that women ask for permission because we lack confidence and we're more comfortable in subordinated positions. As women, each of us has to be aware of how much we were conditioned while we were growing up to subordinate ourselves and wait for someone in the position of authority to tell us what to do. We all remember that in school, we had to raise our hand and ask permission before we went to the bathroom or were allowed to speak. And we were praised for following the rules and called good girls. And we were also taught that the bad boys were all those boys who were rowdy and challenged the rules. But what no one told us is that these rebelling boys were also developing their autonomy and a strong sense of self that would serve them well in the workplace. Having supervised both men and women, I understand the differences between us. So as a woman, I don't think women ask for permission as much as we look to someone with more experience to give us some better ideas so we can do our job really well. But even though I understand that, when a woman comes to me and walks me through her entire thought process and explains everything to me in great detail, I'm going to respond like a male manager and start thinking, I don't have time for this. Just go do what you think is best and come back to me if you hit a stumbling block and don't know what to do. So even though I'm a woman, women can still plant those seeds of doubt with me that make me question their self-confidence and if they're really ready to advance in their careers. In comparison, I know the guys are out there solving all kinds of problems on their own. Does that make me feel all warm and fuzzy? Oh, hell no. I've worked with enough men to know that they often look for the fastest and simplest solution, and they don't put in the work that's necessary in order to come up with the best solution. And because of autonomy, they don't inform management that the problem even exists until it all blows up on them. So while women don't have enough autonomy, men have too much. As managers, we just want that happy balance where we know what's going on and we have confidence that our people are coming up with the best solutions. So forget about permission or forgiveness. It's about doing the grassroots work to figure out what's going on, talking to your colleagues and getting their input so you can propose a solution. Then after you've done your homework, go see your manager and explain the problem and your solution. Be able to answer your manager's questions. This is how you instill confidence in your abilities and prove that you're someone who takes the initiative to solve problems correctly. It's how you prove you're someone who's ready to advance in the workplace. This is Dot Callahan asking you to help me turn the woman in the room into the women in the room. Sign up for my newsletter, subscribe to my YouTube channel, or find the Woman in the Room on Facebook. It's up to you. Just keep watching and sharing my videos. To get advice from a woman who's been there, dealt with that, and knows what works.